Attribution T-shirt.
Hi.
So, why T-shirts?
Well, they're pretty much everywhere, aren't they?
They are.
You get them from, Paul came home with this one recently. You get them from activities you do.
Yeah,
and
compulsorily, even though you're never probably going to wear it. It's just we're
something
manufactured
free.
for the sake of it. Yeah.
Exactly. Promotional. You buy them because they're so easy to wear,
Yes. Yeah.
easy to launder.
Yeah. It's your everyday wear. It's your underneath everything wear.
Yep.
But so often they go so quickly out of shape. don't they?
Exactly. Look, don't you hate it? You buy one, first wash, the seams are all twisted.
The whole thing's twisted around. That happens
Yep.
because they're not cut straight on the fabric to
Yeah.
start with. So you end up with something that's brand new that you've paid $50 for, and you've got a 50-50 chance of it being wearable after the first wash.
Exactly. And that because it is twisted like that, it ends up not fitting right and looking like rubbish very quickly.
Yeah, and then, it's off to the charity shop.
Exactly.
Massive pile. My
Or
husband goes
hoard
through
them.
hoard them.
Yes.
Put them in the bottom drawer because you paid good money for it and you don't want to get rid of it.
And
But at the same time, you don't want to wear it. Every time you get it out, it looks rubbish.
Yeah.
You have to iron it, so it's always at the bottom of your pile.
Yeah, because when they're twisted, how do you make that right?
Exactly.
Bit of steam.
You and I were talking about when you get a brand new T-shirt and the binding's made of self fabric.
Yeah.
But then it's not top stitched down or anything. The first wash, it flips to the outside.
And everyone loves that, don't they?
Oh.
Walking around.
And even my kids, who aren't very old, come out, what's wrong with this T-shirt? And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, yeah.
That's how they're made.
It is how they're made. So even really expensive T-shirts, this is not just
You
cheap
cheap.
T-shirts. It's
Yeah.
literally all T-shirts. You've got a 50% hit rate on them being decent and being able to wear them for the longer term. So,
There's so many of them. We're drowning in them.
We are drowning in them. Your charity shop, rows and rows and rows and rows.
Yeah. So that's why we thought we would see what we could do with T-shirts.
Yes.
Because you've done some pretty cool things with T-shirts.
I may or may not be in love with T-shirt upcycling.
So what have you made them into, Liz?
So anything from a lightweight T-shirt yarn crocheted into hats, bucket hats.
Yeah.
A bit chunkier into cute hand knitted, into little clutch bags that are really cute, perfect for, a bit of a boho look.
Yep.
Even so much as massively thick and arm knitted into a weighted blanket, which was absolutely awesome. Yes, it did take a very long time though.
Yeah.
There was a lot of T-shirt cutting into the weighted blanket scenario. But I was wondering though this time, rather than cutting them and making them into yarn, as we were saying, a lot of the fabric is new.
Yeah.
Just a little bit skewed.
So we should be able to make something fantastic and get more wear out of it.
Yeah, so basically
Something
use it as a
new.
new fabric. Yeah. So, you and I was talking about how often in upcycling projects, people enjoy having the legacy of the former garment.
Yeah, that you can see. You can see
that it used to be a T-shirt or it used to be this. And we wanted to take a different angle on that and see if we can make it look like this is deliberate. I made it this way the first time.
Yeah.
Give it that new
look. So it looks like intentional, more intentional rather than thrown together.
Yes. Yeah, a more deliberate look. I feel like you can rock the avant-garde history of the textiles look on the runway, not so much down the shopping centre.
No.
I feel like you just look
Your
like
kid's
you
going to
fell
look
into
at you as though, Mum, what are you wearing?
What have you got on?
Yep.
At least they keep things honest. They keep us real, don't they?
They
the
do.
Kids, they
do.
tell it how it is.
Well, my nephew asked me on the weekend whether I was wearing my pyjamas.
Oh, good.
But this is one of my elevated tracksuits. Of course it's not pyjamas.
I don't know. I think he just is not in the know.
No,
he doesn't know how
absolutely not.
Are.
Of course not. But so what are you going to do, Liz? What project did you have in mind?
Okay, so I was thinking that I would take two fabrics, pre-loved fabrics, that by themselves are not going to make a fabulous
outfit.
A fabulous look. Yeah, you couldn't just use the fabric and sew an outfit from it and have a good result. So I'm thinking a threadbare sheet, something on the end of its life cycle.
So not the thing that people would go to and think, I'm going to make something fabulous.
No, not your fabulous sheet. Not your fabulous vintage sheet that you paid good money for.
Yep.
Stalked the second-hand market for. Not that type of thing. Literally on its last legs.
Yep.
Too see-through to make a dress out of or anything.
Fantastic.
And then I'm going to pair that with several different T-shirts, I think, but we're going to go with all the same colour T-shirts so that we can get that look that we're talking about.
Yes.
And I'm going to use the sheet as a foundation.
Yeah.
To stitch.
Like foundation paper piecing.
Yes. Yep. So like when you're quilting, and so I'm going to have the foundation sheet.
Yep.
The bonus to that is I'll be able to make the muslin of the pattern in just the sheet.
Yep.
Make sure it fits.
Yep.
Disassemble it. And make my fabulous T-shirt creation. Yeah, once I know that everything fits and it's going well. So, that's the plan anyway. This is what I've been dreaming about.
I can't wait to see how that would work. That sounds fantastic.
What about you?
So, I kind of was thinking a bit about memory quilts.
Oh yeah, with the like band T-shirts and stuff that you see people.
Yeah,
but
something a bit more practical, something I would actually use because I love quilting. I have lots of quilts. A memory quilt wouldn't really be something special. So I was thinking a bomber jacket.
Okay.
But I want it to look intentional. So I want to not kind of have it like blocky like a memory quilt.
Not like you made it out of a memory quilt.
Exactly. So I want it to kind of flow.
Right.
Well, that's the plan. Who knows?
It sounds like a challenge, but I think it could be really amazing if done right.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
Right. So do it right, Jen. I don't know why it's
Stop mucking around.
All right.
Let's get to it.
Let's get going.
My inspo for this sew came from Stranger Things. I've been watching it with my daughter and thinking about how shows and music, like fashion, defines a certain time in our lives. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was that defining show for me. I've had a Buffy tee and other band tees sitting in my wardrobe for years, and this sewing challenge is a perfect opportunity to make a wearable, memory quilter-esque piece. I've been wanting to make a bomber jacket, and truly, if there's a better combo than band tees and bomber, I'd like to hear it. I have 2 bomber sewing patterns, the Amelia Bomber by Wardrobe by Me and the Kimball by Cashmerette. I've had huge success with Cashmerette patterns lately, so I'm going to use the Kimball as the base and then add the collar and pockets from the Amelia. The fabric will, of course, be a memory mash of my favourite tees. Choosing T-shirts. Do you know, Liz, it turns out I have a lot more T-shirts than I realised.
All black too. Look at the number of options you've got going there.
Yep. So I had all these T-shirts I wanted to include, but that was definitely something I was intentionally doing. Only choosing the black T-shirt so it would look really smick was the idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
That was that ribbing you helped me find.
Oh, so fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
And here we go, getting ready for the chopping up bit. It's surprising how long the chopping up bit takes.
I thought that too when I did mine. It's very long-winded and lots of bits.
Yes, yeah. So this is the speeded up version, which is how I wish we could do real life, the ribbing. Yes. And because I love that ribbing so much, I decided to choose the lining to match the ribbing and had this fabulous fleece left over from a prior project.
Looks warm.
It does. It does. Exactly what I was after. And as you know, I'm not really a muslin maker. But because all these tees were one of a kind and things I really liked, I decided I should make a sample at least.
Just make sure you didn't mess it up.
Exactly. See what would work. And I decided that heat and bond was going to be my technique.
Okay, yep.
So fuse the heat and bond onto the fleece and then attach the T-shirts to kind of stabilise the whole.
Okay, so it makes it one thick layer.
Yeah, exactly. But I have to admit, I underestimated how much heat and bond I would need.
Right.
And it's quite expensive, heat and bond. So I went and bought a cheaper option from Lincraft.
Okay.
Yeah. So here we are. I kind of guesstimated the size of the T-shirts I'd need and pieced them together.
And then directly onto the heat and bond.
Yeah, and then fused it onto the heat and bond and then cut down to the right size from there. So here we are. This is not my actual iron. I'll have you know, fake ironing.
I was going to say, because you are on your cutting board there.
I am. All the risky behaviour. So cutting it out, getting it to the right size.
Nice. I do like theatrical fake ironing.
Yes,
that's excellent work.
You have to do it. And I was really happy how it turned out. I liked that it was more like a solid kind of scuba feel.
Yeah, and they're really a real interest rather than the sort of the softer feel of a T-shirt.
Exactly. This took me far too much time. I had nightmares of having like a dart through Buffy's face. So there was lots of science involved in making sure the dart was going to be in the right spot for
this
Buffy.
is the trouble of having bust. I would have no problem with this because I don't even need a dart.
So you weren't going to be losing 3 inches out of
Buffy's face.
Buffy's face. Yeah. So I ended up deciding how to do it. It was quite thick. Like once you start getting...
Oh, by the 2 layers of fleece and the 2 layers of T-shirt and the heat and bond.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. It was still going okay here. Like disaster had not yet struck when we were doing this bit. The side seam. So now suddenly you've got...
another layer.
Yeah. So you've got the 3 layers of the fleece and... Yeah. And I was blithely unaware how disastrous things were about to get.
Clipping away... Not a care in the world.
Exactly. And it was quite late. I should have been going to bed. And
this is when all disaster strikes, right?
It does. I don't even know what I was thinking sewing so late. Look, it's dark, the footage is rubbish, and I'm about to disastrously bust a needle. So I broke a needle.
Yes.
It was late at night. I then, even worse, could only find 2 parts of the needle. So
somewhere, either in the garment or in the depths of your sewing machine.
Yeah. And I was looking at that going, oh, my gosh, that dart is so massive. There are so many layers. I could possibly not find it again. But luckily called upon Paul. We found it in the sewing machine. It was very, 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 very well jammed in there. But it got it out.
Oh, no. Requiring pliers by the look.
It did. And I had, because I was going to do the inseam pockets, I realised after this when I tried my jacket on that there is a reason why the cashmere pattern doesn't have side seams.
Pockets. They're like under your arms. They're so far back.
So I cut it out, and then this is the point where I just completely went insane. So if you're squeamish, look away. I, for some reason, just decided not to follow the pattern for the neckline. I just chopped it. I don't even know what was happening. I was like ready for it to be done.
I've had enough of sewing this.
Exactly. I was so ready to wear it. I loved it. I thought this is just cool.
We just need the neckline. Quick, do it.
Yeah. So and just fearful. I can't even watch
Look at you just like
footage.
Randomly cutting into something that you just spent all that time sewing and preparing.
Exactly. And then I had to try to work out how to make it all work after that because big chunks have now been cut out of the front of it. So yeah, I understood in theory what I was trying to do. I tried to go back to the pattern. But, you know, when you've thrown the pattern in the bin, metaphorically, there's nothing to save you.
It's out the window. It's hand stitching, I think. It's what saves you at times like this.
Yeah. But I was still kind of a bit risky. I was still just like...
Just clipping away. Look at you. Like, I'm just going to sew it. It's going to be fine.
Exactly. And that's what I did. I don't know. This was a completely insane project. At this point, things were just...
It looks good though, right?
Well, things were going nuts. I sewed it in. I just didn't even care.
I like throwing all of the rules out the window.
Yep, the caution was gone.
Just sewing it in. And look at that though. It's working.
Yeah. Well, not really. If you watch a little bit longer through my unnecessarily long bit of footage about sewing in a neckline, which was unsuccessful, you'll see me go back to the
reveal and then maybe try again.
Yeah, the quick unpick, the try it all over again. Yes, because I totally forgot about the zip. So the ribbing matched up with the centre front.
Oh, okay. So you need to, yeah. Okay.
So I had to move it move it over a bit.
Well, at least it's only taking more fabric out. At least you didn't have to magic fabric into the bit that you'd chopped out.
Wouldn't that be awful? It could have been really super bad. This bit, perfect. Go back to the pattern, following the instructions.
Worked a charm.
It did work. It worked so well.
When somebody's actually put effort into planning something, what they say is generally the best way to go.
Yeah. And really, if I am going to be doing this completely wild, not follow the pattern kind of sewing, I need to make a muslin. I can't just
go rogue on the final product.
Exactly. So the zip. I found I was so happy with the colour of the zip. It matched the ribbing, which matched the lining. It's all beautiful, but far too long.
Right.
Yeah. So since I had got over my amazing panic attack of just going rogue, going crazy with the
Doing
neckline.
Random things. You thought you might plan the zip?
I thought I should plan it. Look. I've ruled a line where it needs to go to. I even removed the little zip nodules.
Instead of just trying to tuck them back into the seam. I have done that before in laziness, and it's never worth it.
Well,
get your pliers out, get rid of the extras.
I did, but I had about 6 inches of them, so I have no idea why I started at the end. I should have just cut it off.
Yeah, but perhaps just maybe an inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, giving myself a chance to not get it completely wrong.
It is easy enough to do, though. I remember when I first started sewing zips, and I thought, oh, look, it has to be the exact right size.
Yeah.
When I found out that you could just adjust them and I could just have whatever length, I was like,
whole new world.
A whole new world of zips are available to me now.
Yeah, all the different colours and
so you can just make it work. Okay. So I've been toying for a while with the idea that the quilting technique foundation piecing might be a good way to rework fabrics for garment making. It's a technique where you have a foundation fabric that may not be desirable for whatever reason, wrong colour or whatever, but you can use that fabric as a base. The foundation fabric provides the structure and the shape. You can then stitch on your more desirable fabrics. Then you trim off the excess and you have your new fabric ready to go. I'd been itching to have a go and see how this would work for garments. And then I saw this vintage dress on Retro A Go-Go on Instagram, and it seemed like the perfect style to try this technique. Pattern-wise, I've managed to track down this vintage dress pattern from the early 1970s. I have a cotton sheet that's been accidentally dyed pink that's going to provide my foundation fabric, and then T-shirts for the colours. What could go wrong? All right, so I was that excited about using this vintage pattern.
It's awesome.
Oh, it's so cool. This was actually printed before I was born.
That's so cool.
It's awesome, isn't it? And all in mint condition, never been cut. I was actually super excited to find one in my size.
That's so lucky.
Yeah, but have a look at this. This, with 5 different options, is the entire instructions.
They were very hardcore back in the day.
They really are. Well, I suppose people had sewn stuff. You can just write insert the collar and
don't have to explain how.
Don't have to explain how.
How do you reckon that would go with your patterns, your PDFs? Would people be down with that?
I don't think it'd fly, Jen. I really don't. They'd be like
these days.
So so we cut it. I was worried about maybe cutting the pieces, but I decided to because it's a single size pattern. So it's not going to limit its usage in the future.
Perfect.
And here is my foundation sheet, dyed pink.
Excellent.
But perfect for this.
Yeah. Did you dye it pink?
No, not me personally. I purchased it dyed pink from a thrift shop, but it does feel really nice, 100% cotton.
Yeah.
So being the tactile lady that I am, I loved it. So I bought it anyway. And it's perfect for this. And I included this little bit because I didn't cut everything in the same direction.
Because it's going to be the foundation. Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
So I didn't have to use as much fabric. And now this bit is, let us know in the comments, is anybody else a factory folder? Do you have to fold it the way it was folded before it comes back in?
I think you need to at least attempt.
Yeah, I couldn't even. It did take me quite a long time, but I was
You didn't call
it.
You didn't go, I got close enough.
No, to redo it. I couldn't put it away. But the good thing about doing this with the foundation piecing is that I was able to essentially make a muslin. So I just basted everything together here without adding the T-shirts and stuff, and then checked to see if it fitted right.
Excellent.
And it did need some changes, so I'm really glad that I did that, because I would have had I would have been putting in a lot of effort on the
wouldn't that just be a nightmare if you'd sewn it with all the T-shirts and
Yeah. So you can see this pattern for people 5'2" to 5'3" and at knee length.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you now, I'm 5'7" and I still needed to take 3.5 inches off the length of this to make it hit at my knee.
So it would be ankle length on me because I'm not even 5'2". I'd be tripping over it.
So you definitely need to check these things because I I honestly thought that it was going to be probably a bit short and I might need to add length. No.
Excellent.
So here we are cutting up the T-shirts. So I've got a couple of different T-shirts and T-shirt dresses.
Yeah.
Cutting it lengthwise because I felt like then when I sewed it onto the foundation fabric, it wouldn't stretch out as much.
Yeah.
However, I then sewed it onto the foundation fabric on the bias.
Oh, so solid effort.
Completely defeated the purpose of that. And it did take, it was finicky. I did have to make sure that I used my walking foot and didn't pull diagonally on the fabric as I sewed it or else the whole front was going to end up sort of on an angle, veering away.
Knit fabric. Oh, you're not making it easy for yourself, are you?
Well, I really thought simple concept. This is going to work perfectly. And then I just overcomplicated it at every step and it made it into very long-winded. I'm super happy with the outcome, but I would be lying straight up if I said that it was a fast and easy thing to do. If you were to use a woven, you could use this with woven fabrics and it would be a lot faster just because of the curly edge there on the old jersey fabric. Yeah. So there was an awful lot of pinning.
Swearing? Was there swearing?
Yes. I did. My kids were talking to me the other day about sewing makes mum happy. Most of the time.
Yeah, except for most of the time.
Except for this when the sewing machine doesn't do what she wants. So, it's lucky that there's no audio on this bit of footage, right? Excellent. But here we go. This is the process of how this goes together, and it is very simple process, and it did turn out really well.
How did you the width of it? Was there science in choosing to have them that wide, or luck, or
a little? When I cut it, you could see I was cutting at the width that the markings are on my cutting mat, which made it faster and easier. But also, I wanted them to be narrow enough so that when it washed later, the knit fabric wouldn't sag in relation to the woven underneath. So I wanted them to be narrow enough that we wouldn't end up with sort of extra pouchiness.
It looks so good.
So here we are after the initial...
After like 4 minutes. 4 minutes of sewing, this is what this is.
4 minutes / 4 million hours. Anyway.
It does look like there was a lot of effort involved in this.
It was more time consuming than I thought it was going to be, that's for sure. But here we go. This is what we've got, all the bits, still looking a little bit untidy, needing an iron. But it just needs a little... We're just going to trim it now to suit the foundation underneath. And it made a lot of scrap. I think we need to make a video about what we're going to do with all of the scrap extras from all of our projects.
Yes.
It should be a future idea.
Write it down. Put it on the list.
But just a quick clean up and then serge the edges. So then everything's all neat and tidy. Here's a lesson to learn right here, though, and you'll see in a second.
I can see it. Oh, my gosh.
So,
heart full.
Just right on the end, right on the last one. But the way to fix that, obviously, as you'll see just here, is to turn it over so that the presser foot's pushing on the woven side and not on the knit side.
I'm impressed you learnt from your lesson. I'm pretty sure I would have done all of it the wrong way.
It was just the first thing I thought. I already knew that. Why did I do that? So there you go. That's how that works. And
ta-da!
Yeah, look at that. Everything's done. All the bits. Yeah, like I said to you before, merrily serged off all the notches and then had to get the pattern back out and mark them all back in again.
I was impressed that you had all those notches on there.
I was just feeling so nostalgic with the vintage pattern.
You had to do it vintage way.
Vintage way. I was throwing back to my childhood sewing years. It does make the cutting slower. It's faster just to mark it in with the pen and then cut it straight. But
there you go.
It's nice. So this is
patch pocket time.
Patch pocket time. Simple concept. Easy peasy. It's everything with the walking foot for this one, just to save the knit fabrics being pushed.
Yeah.
In the same way as you saw it be pushed with the serger.
2 layers of bias knit fabric sounds not good.
And here's me attempting to demonstrate how easy it is to add a zip pull. I did this. Well, easy in theory.
Yes.
I chopped out about, we'll say, 5 to 7 minutes of footage between that first bit and this second bit where it actually goes on. Woo-hoo. So not impossible, but certainly not the fast demo I had in mind. And here's me with blatant disregard to the instructions, just throwing a few pins in instead of basting the zip on.
Oh, it sounds like that would work perfectly.
Oh, yeah, with all the layers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
bias, not enough pins.
Here's the result. And, you know, my friend, the unpicker, that's going to help me sort that out. And with the magic of television, it's like it never happened.
Oh, perfect.
So that's the dangers of just being a little bit too overconfident with things.
And with the very poor instructions that the pattern had, did it tell you that that's how you do it?
It still said base to the zipper. So you'd think with that limited instructions, they still thought base to the zipper was important. Perhaps I should have listened.
Perhaps you should have. We learn. Live and learn.
Well, you'd think I would have learnt by this point, wouldn't you, Jen? But no. But, yes, we learnt by the time we got to the collar.
Few more pins.
Few more
clips.
Few more clips. Follow the instructions.
Yep.
And
I'm impressed you're using your clips. Are you enjoying them?
Well, it's a learning curve with the clips.
Yeah.
I keep putting half of them on in one direction and half of them on in the other direction, so that when I'm trying to take them off as I'm sewing, it's not as smooth as it could be. But I think once I get a bit more in the hang of it, so you'll notice when I'm trying to take these off, half of them on one direction, half in the other. And that's a bit cumbersome.
Yeah.
But they are good. I do enjoy not stabbing myself and having to make sure I don't bleed on the garment, which is something that I had going on beforehand. So, you know.
Worth doing.
It is worth doing, worth trying. And you were saying that they have a
Yeah, they've got a mark on them. Some of them have got a mark for the seam allowance, so a 1 centimetre mark. Something to look forward to.
So you know where you're sewing.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
It's perfect.
And the vintage pattern did, of course, say to hand sew the hem.
But I noticed how good you were doing with your hand sewing of the hem here.
Yes. I did do some of the hand sewing, this bit here, but that's about all. By the time I got to the hem,
you were over it.
I was over it. I'd had enough and I wanted it to be done. So a little bit of hand sewing to finish things off. True vintage pattern style.
Excellent.
Look at that.
And here I am.
Oh, look how cool you are.
I am trying very hard to be cool. Can you tell how hard I am trying at being cool here? I did actually feel really cool in this outfit though.
You look dead cute. It's so, what are we calling that, late 90s, early 2000s with the...
Yes, I'm channeling young Jen. I'm channeling no responsibilities, Buffy watching, cool chick Jen.
Oh, she's fabulous. She's one of my favourite Jens.
Out of all the Jens. That's the Jen we were going to have today. It turned out so well. I'm really happy with how it did, despite all the risky neck cutting and just all the craziness.
Blatant disregard for the rules of sewing. I think it looks fabulous. I really do.
It turned out pretty good. This is a bit that did look rather porny the first time.
I speeded it up a bit. The slow reveal was definitely... questionable.
It's just being very, very unco. Very, very not quite as cool as I'm trying to be.
I don't know. I think you look awesome and I love it. Great outcome.
And look at you, Liz. Oh my gosh, this is such a fun dress.
I absolutely love it. I feel very cool wearing it.
And those pockets.
Oh, it's 70s fabulous. That's what it is, Jen.
It is brilliant. Oh,
with the wing collar.
Like that now.
Oh yeah. I have the pattern for you to loan.
Woohoo. And the colours are perfect for you as well.
Yep, nice warm colours.
Love it with the blue background.
Oh,
it was such a photo shoot. Was really working for us that day.
It really was. Super fun. And love it. Big pockets.
And all the reds are so similar in colour, but just enough different to make it interesting.
Yeah, it gives it more of a texture than a colour difference.
Exactly.
You'll notice I went straight across the back there because the diagonal was just too much.
You got to do what you got to do. Plus, you don't even notice it. The front is just rocking it.
It's very comfy too. The feel of the fabrics together is awesome. So there you go. Ta-da!
So the question is, of course, what are we going to do next?
Who knows?